Hey everybody, this is Tracy here for another edition of A View from Tracy's Point Shorts. And today we are going to talk about Wendy Williams. So I was planning on doing this video yesterday, and I was basically just going to talk about Wendy and the interview that she did with Birdman. That was so, I don't know if I was just emotional or what, but I thought it was a really good interview. I see Birdman in a totally different light. But I didn't get around to doing the recap yesterday or the video yesterday. And so today I was watching Wendy and things turned left because she announced that her show is going on a 2 to 3 week hiatus due to health issues that she has. So let me go ahead and just say what I was going to say about Birdman because it wasn't going to take a lot of time, and then we'll get into what's going on with Wendy. So on yesterday's show, Birdman, with Cash, is it Cash Money? Y'all know I ain't hip to the rap game, but he was a guest on her show, which I thought was odd in and of itself, considering how she done talked about the man so bad and how she doesn't think he's good enough for Toni Braxton and all that stuff. So she started the interview out by letting him know that she had talked negatively about the relationship and she didn't think that he was a good fit for Toni Braxton. I was just like, really, Wendy? Is that how we gonna open this up? But, he basically looked at her and said, what does that have to do with love? Like, who gets to say who falls in love with who? And so she was kind of like taken aback and didn't know which way to go, but, she had to figure out. And so she kind of like was like, well, yeah, you're right. And so basically, without getting to the little intricacies of the interview, he was sharing his story with her that he has been through so much in his life, with both of his, I think he said his mom died when he was like 2 or 3 years old. And then he went into, I guess in New Orleans, they put you in like orphanages or boys' homes or something. Here they just call it foster care. They just find some folks that'll take you into their house and then they pass you around. And when you turn 18, they put you out on the streets with nothing. But he said he was in this boy's home and he was there until his dad was able to come and get him out. And so after his dad, got the right to take him home and take care of him, his dad died. And so he was, left alone again. And so he was saying that he's just experienced so much loss in his life with siblings that have died. And I was just like, oh my God, brothers, sisters, grandparents, aunties, uncles, he's just so many people that he has loved have died. And he said when he started talking to Toni and she introduced him to the rest of her family, that it was really hard for him to receive the love that they were offering him and that family, family function, the whole being a part of their family, that it was hard for him to accept that because everybody he had loved in the past had died or he had, then they talked about the situation with Lil Wayne and how that's just like another loss that he's experienced. And so Wendy, she was trying to get him to answer questions about whether or not him and Toni were married. He said that him and Toni are not married, but she is the woman that he wants to spend the rest of his life with. And I guess they're engaged and looking forward to getting married. But he said they're not married at the moment. And then he said he wasn't going to talk about the situation with Lil Wayne because I guess they're trying to reconnect behind the scenes. And Wendy was like, yeah, but he's suing you. And then he said, like I said, there's some things, I got to make that right. I'm owning up and saying, I got to make that right. And all you need to know is that don't be surprised if you see new music between him and Lil Wayne coming out in the future. But, you know, he was wearing those shades, but you could just hear the tremble in his voice when he was just talking about like all the hurt and disappointment that he has experienced in his life, and you can see that it's still very heavy on his heart. And I can only imagine having people question his relationship with Toni Braxton, you know, basically saying, you know, here's a thug, he's all tatted up, he got the gold teeth, and looked like he done took the gold off his teeth. I could only see the bottom row of his teeth, but it didn't look like he had any gold on his teeth anymore. I think he's the one that used to have the gold teeth. But anyway, I can imagine what it does to him. Like, you, despite everything you've been through, you still been able to build this dynasty, that you are a driving force in the rap, you know, in the rap game, in the music industry, but people can't see beyond your exterior and what you look like, and thinking that you're not good enough to be with Toni Braxton, when, you know, it's emotions. And I think if most of us let our guard down, and when we meet people, because I'm like that, like I'm not dating nobody with tattoos all over their face with gold teeth and all that. I'm just not doing it. But I'm sure that, like, I know people who are like that, and they are very nice people, very sweet people, would give you their last. But I just got to be able to look at you in the morning when I wake up. That's just not what I'm looking for. And so, but I understood what he was saying. Basically, like, Toni was able to look beyond all that and see him for the human being that he is on the inside, and that they have this beautiful love affair going on now. So I hope it works out for them. I hope that God, you know, like I said, you can tell that he still carries that pain, because you could feel the tremor in his voice. But then when he started talking about his son and daughter, how his whole, you know, everything lit up. He still had the shades, but his emotion was coming through in the tone of his voice. And you can tell that they are his everything. And so, I don't know, I just got a new look on Birdman. Like, oh my God, you know, he's human. You know, and so, you know, Wendy was pretty much, wasn't much Wendy could say. Like, you know, hurt the man feelings at the gate, you know. And so you can tell Wendy was emotional, and, you know, which kind of plays into what happened on today's episode, because while she was talking to him, she probably started thinking about some things in her own life and realized that, you know, she's a little judgmental, and that might be why her husband got the mistress of the street and around the corner. So let's go on to today's show. So, you know, in the past, Wendy has talked about the fact that she has hyperthyroid, and, you know, there's a hyper and a hypothyroid, and they have reverse effects. Like, one speeds up everything and the other one slows everything down. So when you have people that have thyroid issues who are overweight and they're dealing with obesity and stuff, they have hypothyroid because everything is slowed down. But with the hyperthyroid, everything is sped up. And so she's also talked about the fact that she has Graves' disease. And whenever people talk about her eyes and how bugged out her eyes look, she always says that when her thyroid issue is engaged and then the Graves' disease steps in, that's what causes, she says, it's the Graves' disease squeezes the muscles behind her eyes, and that's what make her eyes pop out. And so she says that she, you know, all the stuff that she's been going through, she was relating it to menopause, because she says that she hasn't had a period in over a year. But she finally went to the doctor yesterday, and she said she was supposed to go to the doctor in December, but something came up with her family, some family issue. They had a business meeting and something was going on, and she missed the appointment, and the doctor was booked up until August, but I guess she finagled her way into an appointment yesterday. And so she went in to see him. She says that she weighs 146 pounds, which I am thinking, oh my God, like I met Wendy in person. I think Wendy's pretty doggone tall. I think she's taller than I am. She's probably like 6 feet 6'1", and so for her to only weigh 146 pounds, that's kind of scary. Because I'm 5'9", and I know I'm pushing 200 pounds. But when I was at 146 pounds, I think I probably was like 30 years old. Well, when I had my youngest daughter at 28, the day I delivered her, I weighed 133 pounds. And when I tell y'all I was skin and bones, I probably need to find a picture and drop in this video to show y'all how skinny I used to be. And so now I waver between the high 180s and the low 190s. And that was the last time I weighed myself. Hell, I might be over 200 pounds by now. But anyway, she talked about her weight, that she weighs 146 pounds. And then she started, giving some of the symptoms of the hyperthyroid, and especially when the Graves' disease is also rearing its ugly head. And so she says that it promotes nervousness, but she isn't nervous or have anxiety. It's just a symptom that makes her, have the outward appearance of being nervous. And before I get into the symptoms, let me back up, because about 2 weeks ago I was watching the show, and I can't remember who she was interviewing, but she had on like a leopard print top. It was like a brown top with some kind of animal print on it. And I posted on my Facebook page, I said, Wendy, I don't know what's going on with Wendy. I said, but she is looking like her heart is racing, because it was a low-cut dress that had this print, so you could just see her heart just pumping and pumping and pumping. And so she was fidgeting around with the chair. She couldn't stop moving her hands. She was interviewing somebody, and she just couldn't be still. And you could just see like she just wanted to get up out the chair and walk off the stage, because she was like rubbing the arms of the chair. She was doing this. And then on the past couple of days, she's been belching a lot. Like she was in the middle of a sentence talking, and all of a sudden she just belched. And I'm just like, okay, what kind of, the only people I know belch like that are either you've been drinking, like alcoholics belch a lot, you are taking some type of medication that's causing reflux, or you've eaten something like really acidy that's causing you to keep belch. But for like the past 2 days, she would be talking, all of a sudden a belch would come up, and I thought that was crazy. And it was something else. Oh, and then I had noticed that when she comes out on the stage, yeah, her eyes have been bugging, but she would come out on the stage, but her eyes would be clear, like the white part would be clear and white. But within 5 minutes of being on the show, her eyes would just turn so red, like you couldn't tell the color of her, your iris from the rest of the eyeball. And I was just like, something is going on with Wendy. I don't care what she says. And then, remember last week, she canceled Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday show. So that Tuesday, I think it was, she goes up in the audience and she talks with the guests, and she almost fell. And so when she came back this week, they had like this clear, it's like a stand that you put, it's like made out of plexiglass, and you can put stuff on, sit stuff on it. So now when she was going up into the audience, she had that plexiglass stand, and she would kind of like lean on it and prop herself up. Then I noticed like for the past 2 or 3 weeks, she hasn't been wearing heels. She loves her heels, no matter what she has on. So she started out wearing like warm-up suits and pants, and then she would have on flat shoes. But then all of a sudden, when she started by wearing the dresses, she was still wearing flats. Like she has not worn heels on her show probably in a good month. And so I'm just thinking, okay, now I know I'm not the only one that's noticing this. So, she came out today. So when she was talking about the symptoms, she says that it promotes nervousness, that she isn't nervous or have anxiety. It just makes her, it just gives her those appearances that she's really nervous. She says she has moist hands, so that's why she be rubbing on the arms of the sofa trying to get the moisture out of her hands. She says that she's been having trouble sleeping, like she's been, taking melatonin to go to sleep at night. She says she has difficulty swallowing and a rapid heartbeat. So all these things that I was pointing out in that Facebook post a couple of weeks ago, she's talking about that now. And she says that she has an intolerance for heat, and that she appears to be high, but she's not high. But all these symptoms interacting together make her appear to be high, but she swears she's not on drugs and she's not high. And she says that one symptom that isn't coming from all of this and from the medicine she's taking and everything is that it's irritability. And she says that she is very irritable right now, but it has nothing to do with the illness. And so she says that basically she's been neglecting her health because, her son, I guess, is in his senior year. You know, he had some issues going on. Now he's back on track. They've been doing college tours. He finally got accepted, you know, helping him with essays and applications, and he was extended an offer for his first choice, and now it's time for prom and trying to get him fitted for his suit. And so then, you know, trying to take care of her husband, and I'm sure that whole situation with the mistress has probably really been tearing up, because now you can't sleep. So what you gonna do? You gonna get up and go ride by the lady house whenever he ain't home. We human, Wendy, we know what we women do. You know, we texting and calling. He ain't answering the phone. Now we got to go to his little favorite hangouts and restaurants and figure out where he is. So she is just basically running herself raggedy. So she got into the doctor. The doctor prescribed her some new medication and told her that she needs to take a 3-week vacation and be on bed rest, so she can get herself together. So the audience started applauding, like, yeah, we really want you to get yourself together, Wendy, because we talk trash about you, but we want you to get better. And then she was like, oh, y'all ain't from nothing. You know, I don't want to go on vacation. So she said that she decided that instead of the 3 weeks, she's going to take a 2-week hiatus. So today was her last day, and she won't be back for, like, I guess another 2.5 weeks. I'm sure she'll probably come back on a Monday. But then throughout the whole show, her eyes started running, and she was saying that it was from the new medication and it was doing something to her sinuses or something. But I'm sure she was crying because her world is falling apart on national television. And the fact that she had to come out, and then she had wanted them to show her medical charts as proof that she was telling the truth, but they said that, no, we didn't put that in the lineup, so we can't show your medical charts to the world. And so, you know, she had the Q-tip out, and she was drying the tears, and I just felt so sorry for her, like, poor Wendy. You know, we talk about her, and I know, I mean, that's her job. Her job is to gossip and talk about people, okay? But I don't wish anybody bad luck. And, you know, I got the video that I just uploaded about the Queen's Court. And I'm just thinking, like, dang, first the Queen Court falling apart, now Wendy Williams falling apart. Like, can the universe please move out of alignment so that these people can flow through? Because you're holding their creativity down. And I just wish everybody the best, you know, love and light. And so I just want to share that with you guys. Go ahead and leave your comments below, rate the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.